I have a cool announcement. I'm going to be giving away Gibson guitars or Epiphone. For the final test, we've got our headstock drop test. Hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. This is a video that I've wanted to make for a long time, and Sweetwater has made it possible. They're the sponsor of today's video. They provided this Gibson Les Paul for a previous video, and now they've sent me the Epiphone version so we can do the ultimate Les Paul Special comparison. That sounded terrible. Let's add some reverb to that. The ultimate Les Paul Special comparison. Nope. I got a lot of stuff to cover, so stay tuned until the end of the video for a cool announcement as well. But let's start with the blind tone challenge. People always like trying to guess which guitar is which. So just to mention today's prices, the Gibson goes for $17.99. The Epiphone is $4.49, that's US. And I'll play the Gibson and the Epiphone, do some clean, do some mild gain, and then some higher gain. And you have to guess which guitar is which, or you can just leave a comment to say which one you like more. And it's just for fun. This isn't scientific. We're just playing guitar. We're just having fun. Let's go. I smiled. First time. Hey everybody. Try to guess which guitar is X and which guitar is Y. Leave a comment after hearing all the tone samples. Here are the results. One of the guitars is this one, and the other one is this one. There you go. Leave a comment if you got it right or wrong. If you got it wrong, play again. And which one did you prefer? You can leave a comment about that too. Okay, so now after hearing it, I would say the tones recorded and played over YouTube isn't worth too much, right? Like 50 bucks. That's just a random value I made up. What I'm trying to say is there's so much more that matters when deciding which guitar is better for you. It's not just hearing the tones on YouTube. So having them in your hands, hearing them plugged into your rig and hearing the sound in the room is, something I can't convey over YouTube. I can kind of describe it in my hands, but not in your hands. It's in your hands to figure out what feels like. I can't really convey those things over YouTube. So this is the end of the video. Goodbye. Anyways, I think I'm right because I'm right. So let's have a super close look at the specs and features. Let's start at the top, right? Some people cannot get past the look of the Epiphone headstock. They see it and they immediately say, hard nope, hard pass, no, gross, they puke. Anyways, let's move along and compare the specs. As we watch these glorious close-up shots, these are really nice shots. I'm not even joking. Let's bring up a side-by-side spec sheet and we'll discuss what we see. It's disgusting. That's the past tense of this. My biggest takeaways just from the sheet. You can compare all the specs, but gloss versus nitro finish, and they look really different, right? The Epiphone is bright and bold. The Gibson is lighter and lets you see the wood grain. And every guitar has varying weight. Even the same model can have different weight depending on the guitar. So in this case, when I measured them, the Gibson is lighter than the Epiphone. It's noticeable. You can see the weight there when I stuck it on my food scale. That's because sometimes you want to eat a guitar too. So that's why you get a food scale. When it comes to the neck shape, they describe it as a vintage 50s. In my hands, the Epiphone felt chunkier. So I took some measurements, and it is, in fact, slightly thicker moving down the neck. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but I measured it. That's all I can say. However, the Gibson has a wider nut, and not much wider, but it is wider. And I measured that as well, and you can see the difference. Now, the fretboard is Indian Laurel on the Epiphone and Rosewood on the Gibson. Very similar looking. The Gibson is slightly darker, but it's so close. And both have 22 medium jumbo frets. You can see the Gibson has the little ends that are covered, and both guitars have smooth frets. They both really nice. They both really nice. That's what I wrote. They both play really nicely. That's what I think I meant to say. You can see the tailpiece on the Epiphone has little metal bars, almost like saddles that have been intonated at different lengths. The Gibson does not have that. Both have the vintage deluxe tuners. They look similar. The Epiphone model says Epiphone, and the Gibson model is labeled Gibson. I'll mention the Gibson pegs stick out further, which I actually found better and more comfortable while tuning, because my fingers were rubbing on the Epiphone headstock while tuning. Not a big deal, but I noticed it. So I just want to mention everything I noticed. For the controls, let's take a look inside. Selector switch feels solid on both. The pots feel smooth on both guitars. The wiring is quite different between the two. The routing is cleaner on the Gibson, which I would expect, but it's not always the case. But overall, both are fine. I don't know what I meant by that. It's not always the case. This is the only Gibson I've been looking at. Now, the pickups on the Epiphone are called P90 Pro, and the Gibson, they just call it P90s. Let's grab the pickup resistance measurements for both guitars. From memory, you're seeing it on screen, but from memory, they're like almost identical. Just to compare them so you can take those numbers and crunch them and stats and things. People like to do number stuff. Both guitars have Gibson 10 to 46 strings. The Gibson comes with a really nice hardshell case. And I mentioned this in my first video that I was really surprised by all the case candy you get with the Gibson. I didn't expect that. You get a strap, you get a toolkit, you get a couple other things. I think you got there's some papers in it. The Epiphone comes with a box and comes with a pack of paperwork, big pack, and some stickers and stuff. So there's the visible things, side by side compared. Okay, for the final test, we've got our headstock drop test. Sorry, I should back that up. If maybe this was an alternate universe and money wasn't a concern, I would say, okay, for the final test, we've got our headstock drop test. Wouldn't that be nuts? Of course, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. However, it's my biggest concern with Gibson and Epiphone guitars. I don't know why. I just see pictures online, broken headstocks, and I never see that with Fender. Should I even worry? People say, just don't drop the guitar. Yes, perfect advice. I will not drop the guitar. Thank you, solved, no problem. Nobody bumps into guitars. Usually it's from a guitar tipping over while standing up, right? Like that. That was a telly. It was fine. Let's talk pros and cons, and I'm gonna mention things you don't see in a spec sheet, right? Like holding the guitars, they both feel great. They both sound great in the room. I haven't listened to the recordings yet, so maybe one sounds better mic'd, but that's always for you to decide when you're listening to, listen to it on different sources. Maybe you'll find it sounds better on a phone versus a computer, but I'm not hearing a big difference in the room. The necks feel good. I did notice the Epiphone feels slightly chunkier, so if you like that, that's for you. It's tough to describe if I feel a difference between poly and nitro. I'm guessing I would start feeling it more if my hands are starting to sweat, but I can't really say one feels better from what I've played so far. But maybe in the future I'll do a follow-up and let you know. Setups are both great on both. Both are great on both. Setups are great. The only con I can see might be the bridge on both if you need to adjust the intonation. That's an inherent issue that's not specific to these two guitars, right? It's just the bridge design in general. There's no fine tuning, pun intended. Both guitars are great overall. Of course, the biggest difference is the price, right? $17.99 divided by 449 is 4.00668. You could buy 4 of the Epiphone guitars for the price of the Gibson. So why is the Gibson guitar 4 times the price? I'm asking you. Leave a comment. I can't tell you tangibly. I don't know. I know the answer. But let's do the wife test. I'm going to ask my wife if she's heard of Gibson guitars. Then I'm going to ask her if she's heard of Epiphone. I think she'll say yes to Gibson. I'm just guessing, but an Epiphone maybe, right? Well, let's see. 2 quick questions. What are your thoughts when you hear the name Gibson guitars?
Things my husband purchases.
Okay, so you've heard of it? You've heard of it?
Yeah.
What about Epiphone guitars?
No idea.
Okay. Sam, what do you think? Thank you. Gibson guitars or Epiphone? Okay, so that's the wife test. That's probably a bad name for. It's just my point is, how much is a name brand worth to you? So if you came to this video in the market for a Les Paul Special and you can afford the Gibson, I say go for it. If you can't get the Gibson, go for the Epiphone. Both are really good. I'm not knocking one. This is the second Epiphone Les Paul Special in TV Yellow that I've owned. I gave away the first one a couple years ago in a giveaway on my channel, which leads me to something that I'll get to in a moment. So again, I'm super lucky that Sweetwater gave me both these guitars. Again, thanks to them for supporting my channel. Affiliate links are in the description. If you wanted to get any Epiphone or Gibson stuff, if you wanted to get anything guitar related, take a look. That's the best way you can say thanks to Sweetwater for them saying, for me saying, what am I saying? Okay, I mentioned at the beginning, I have a cool announcement. I'm going to be giving away this Epiphone Les Paul Special in TV Yellow. It's right there. All you gotta do is click the giveaway link in the description. It's open worldwide. All the details about the giveaway are there. It's self-contained on its own site, so you don't have to comment in this video or anything like that. Good luck. Sweetwater provided that guitar, so you can thank them by using the links or just say thank you in the comments, and that's all I can ask. I mean, I could ask for more, but who could ask for anything more? One last thing. Don't go yet. Hold on. One more thing. I have dedicated demo review videos for each guitar, and I'll share them in the description. The Epiphone one's a couple years old, but it's still okay. You can just hear more tones, see more gas-inducing images and video, that kind of thing. It really helps. All right, this has been fun. I like doing these comparison videos. If you have any recommendations, if you want to see this kind of video again, comparing 2 guitars like that, shoot some names in the comments. Like, leave some names, right? Say, like, I want to see you compare. I want to see a Gibson ES335 compared to your car or your toaster. That's not a good comparison. I'm getting off track. This is where we end it. I'm off script. The script is over. All right, as always, play guitar and have fun, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.